My name is Fiona McMahon, and I work here in HC Financial, and I work in the mortgages section. So today we're going to talk about first time buyers, or really anybody getting ready to apply for a mortgage. So the first thing when clients come into me, let's say a first time buyer, when clients come into me looking to apply for a mortgage, or if they ring me up, all the better, and they say, Fiona, we are looking to apply for a mortgage in the future, in 6 months or in 12 months time. What do we need to get ready? So the first thing I would say to them is, number one, your bank statements, because the banks are quite strict and they go through your bank statements like a fine-tooth comb. So your current account bank statement, it needs to be, they'll require 6 months, so we have to have a 6-month current account bank statement. And on those bank statements, your salary to be mandated, so your salary to be mandated monthly or weekly or fortnightly, so we can see it, so the lender, the underwriter can see it going into your account. If you've standing orders or direct debits coming out, that they need all to be kept in order. The main thing with your current account is that we can't see referral fees or bounce direct debits or bounce standing orders, that it's kept in good order. Keep it in good order for 6 months. Be very mindful of that. And equally, if you have an overdraft facility approved by the bank, that's fine. But I would advise people to try not to use that overdraft facility. Try to avoid going into overdraft, because when an underwriter is underwriting the case and they're looking that you're going into overdraft at the end of every month, it means that you're living beyond your means, that you need to rely on that overdraft. So be mindful of that. That's important. So that's your bank statements generally covered, your current account bank. It's important that you're permanent in your job. And I would have people coming to me that are still on probation. Now it is case by case, so I don't want to put people off. I mean, nurses, people in the medical profession, if they're on contract or if they're not permanent, we can get cases have gone through. But in general, the banks and the lenders and the underwriters are quite pernickety when it comes to permanency. So best that you are permanent and you have gone through your probationary period and that you're permanent in your job, because when the employer fills out your salary search, there is a question: are you permanent, temporary, or on contract? And we need that permanent box to be ticked. There is another around employment, so that's your salary search and your employment details. For self-employed, that's another, and I think we might do another chat on people that are self-employed that are looking to purchase. It's slightly different. For people that are self-employed, they generally look for 3 years certified accounts. 3 years certified accounts, your Form 11s, 3 years Form 11s, and confirmation from your tax advisor, your tax consultant, that all your tax affairs are up to date. But I might cover off on self-employed people just on another chat another day, but that's just the bones of that. The other thing with employment details, when it comes to your salary, your basic salary, you'll see it's 3.5 times your salary is what you qualify for. That's one box. And there can be exceptions to it, but generally it's 3.5 times your salary. And then a lot of people have overtime and commission. And if there's overtime and commission, and it very much factors into your income, we need to show them 2 to 3 years P60s, or they're now called your EDS, your employment detail summary. We'll need to show them proof of that for the last 2 to 3 years. So I need to be able to say to them, look, this is their basic salary, this is their overtime and commission, this is what it was last year, look at proof of their commission earnings and their overtime earnings last year and the previous year. Look, here's proof. So I'm showing proof that it is there, to factor that in as well, and they'll take percentage of it. The other thing that's very important is savings. I need to be able to say to the underwriter when I'm submitting a case and when I'm getting a case together, look, these guys are permanent in their job, and they're paying rent of X amount. Here it is coming out of their current account statement every month, and I have proof of that, so I can show them that for the last 6 months. I also generally need to show them savings, a savings record. So your savings are quite important. So a standing order generally every month coming out of your current account, the account that your salary goes into, standing order coming out, going into a savings account, a credit union account or another mortgage saver account, showing a savings build up for 6 months. And that savings is not to be, I mean, it's fine to save 500 a month, but then the next month if you withdraw 200 out of that, that's a no-no if you can at all. If you're saving 500 a month, try, I know it's easier said than done, try as much as possible not to touch that savings account. Let that 500 build up every month for 6 months. So, you know, and it's only 6 months proof that we need at the moment to show the underwriter. So just to leave it, not touch it. So it shows the lender, okay, these guys can afford to save 500 a month, they can afford to pay rent of 600 a month. So straight away there, I'm showing a repayment ability to the underwriter. Rent repayments, sometimes, you know, your landlord will want to be paid cash, and that's, you know, that's between you and the landlord. But the best case scenario is to have your rent coming out of your account, to have proof of rent, you know, and so that we can show them, look, this is their rent every month going out. If the landlord or the agreement that you have, they don't want it by standing order and you pay them cash every month, try as much as possible to get a rent receipt. And failing that, if you can't get a rent receipt from them, if we can maybe circle to show them, you know, I'll show them that this is the rent coming out, but generally you would need a lease agreement to go along with that for us to be able to factor that in as proven repayment ability, as rent being paid every month. If at all possible, if you're thinking about changing the car or if you're thinking about a personal loan, try and avoid it as much as possible, taking out extra debt prior to going for a mortgage. Now I know it's not always possible, but we'll say a car loan. If you do have a car loan and you're paying 300 a month, that is factored in very much so into the repayment calculator, that you're paying 300 a month to a car loan, and that is going to continue after you draw your mortgage. So it can sometimes reduce the amount that you're able to borrow. So just to be aware of that. Credit cards, be mindful of your credit card balance, using your credit card, because they will look for 6 months credit card statements. And the other thing to be aware of, if you're a first-time buyer, the Help to Buy scheme is quite important. If you're buying a new house, you may qualify for the Help to Buy scheme, and that is a big advantage. It's up to a max of, they've increased it up to a max now of 30,000. How do you qualify? You go online and you just key in on the search bar, just key in your Help to Buy application, and you apply online once you have your PPS number, and they will come back to you, revenue come back to you then with the amount that you qualify for. Generally it's based on the tax that you've paid over the last number of years, so, you know, revenue calculated. But I have had a number of cases where joint application, taken into account both earnings and both, you know, tax paid over the last number of years, they qualified for the max amount, and it was 30,000. Now it has to be a new house, has to be a first-time buyer first of all, and it has to be based on a new property, a new build. Okay, that's it I think for today. If you have any questions or any queries, send them in to me. No problem at all, I'll answer, and no question is a silly question. So that's what I'm here for, and you have my contact details, my contact email. Yeah, so thank you.